times to start this podcast. Not because I don't have anything to say or don't want to share something, but I guess I didn't feel present. I didn't feel like I'm living the message that I want to share to you today. Because the message is about being present. The message is about the truth. And how can I share something that I am not? Which is kind of impossible not to be present. Because that's the only state that is real, that only exists. Of course, when a mind comes in, the past and future only exist in our minds. And these are the topics that I want to share with you today. And I wrote this this intro that possibly could spark an interest of this podcast. And I'm learning like marketing, digital marketing and everything, that in the first minute you need to capture someone's attention. If you don't do that, then the whole video is gone. No one's going to watch it. I'm not doing that in this video. I was thinking about doing this, but I feel like these lessons, this wisdom, this knowledge that is flowing through me and flowing through you to you doesn't need specific, fake, hook, specific strategy for your ears. I feel and believe that this wisdom and this knowledge finds exactly who needs to hear that. And if you are here, it's for the reason. And in this podcast, in this episode, I will share 20 truths. Yes, 20. It's like universal truths that not that I strongly believe, but there is deep inner sense of knowing. Like believing is something that it can be true and cannot be true. So you believe. So do you believe that I have a ball in my hand? It doesn't matter if you believe or don't believe. I either have or don't have. So it doesn't matter. If someone believes or someone doesn't believe, the truth is what it is. It's either that I have ball in my hand or don't. But yes, I do. And if someone didn't believe before they knew, it didn't make less true. And actually, I posted something in Threads in my account today that I absolutely loved. And it says, what is real doesn't need a label to exist. And in this podcast, I will be going there. And I promise I am not going to hold myself back, because sometimes I do. Sometimes when saying my beliefs and saying what I have a sense of this to be true, I hold myself back because some people might not agree with me. But I promise you, today, I am not caring about people who might not agree with me. That's totally fine. So I'm just letting the truth flow through me. That's my goal for today. And I hope and wish that you find this useful for you too. I'm talking about life, about surrender, about also death. And like these things, and these things are really important for me, because I do believe like not knowing about these things, you kind of drift through life meaninglessly. And I wrote this intro that would potentially hook the listener, hook you. But if you're here, if you're still listening, that means you probably don't need hooks. You trust. You feel like you are in the right place. But anyways, I want to read this to you. So imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that almost everything you have spent your life chasing was actually never capable of making you happy. What if your suffering isn't caused by circumstances, but by the stories you have been telling yourself about the circumstances? What if peace isn't something you earn, find, or achieve, but something that's been quietly waiting underneath all the noise of the external world? In this episode, we will explore some of the deepest ideas about God, about presence, attachment, detachment, death, gratitude, identity, and what truly means to be alive. My invitation to you is simple. Don't just listen to these words. Watch yourself listening to them. Because the greatest insight may not come from what's being said, but from the awareness that hears it. Wow. All right, so let's go on. Let's get to it, right? First one, God is everything. We live in a world where a lot of people says you need to go to church every Sunday to be with God. I strongly disagree with that. And I'm not saying anything bad about that, because I went to church for a year and a half, starting from 2024 to 2025, and that really helped. And when I went to church, I saw people like really accepting me and saying hey, and they welcomed me, and they were always greeting me and made me feel great. And I was recovering from alcoholism, and every Sunday meeting, it kind of helped me be accountable. And I needed that at the start. But I saw this big misalignment that God isn't in the church, that God isn't somewhere out, that God is not only Jesus. And I saw a lot of people preaching and saying, God is like, I cannot be like you. You are the Holy One. Who am I? Like, I'm small, you're big. And that created separation. But God is no separation. And at start, the church kind of united me, and in time, it made me feel so separate from God. And when I talked to pastor, I said, I love being alone. I love go to walks alone. I love being by myself. And he said something like, oh, that's so strong. It's so hard for me to be by myself. And I was like, like, it's so weird, because God is in the silence. What is God? God is everything. Like, everything that it's made of particles. And I do believe that, like, every tree, every cell, every atom is like these particles. This is God. God is everything. And we are just a part of that God. It's not like you and I are separate. It's like everything is the same, in different form and different shape. And here are a couple things to think about. If I hurt another person, I hurt myself. And I saw people in church hurting themselves and hurting other people while at the same time preaching God. And I was like, that's not really resonating with me anymore. Like, you cannot do harm to others and say, yeah, I'm a Christian, I believe in God. Like, what does that mean to you? I do believe if you say, I believe in God, you treat every single person as God, as with love. So separation. God is no separation. Second truth, you're not your identity. If you can remove something, your job, like when I greet people, they say, I'm a student, I work there, I'm a father, I'm a mother, but that's just a label. If you can remove your label, you're still you. So the question is, who is you? And that could be hard to face. Who am I? That's the biggest question that a lot of people are scared to admit, that we are so tied and so attached to these identities and these labels that we don't know who we are. And that's totally fine. It's scary sometimes. You existed before your labels. The true you. You existed in your mom's womb. You existed even before that. The consciousness of you, that's the true you. This is just a meat suit. Thoughts are also just thoughts in the brain. It's not you. Third, happiness never comes from possessions. I remember that time that I was in a long-term relationship and I thought I was happy in that relationship for some time, but then I started feeling, I don't feel happy. Like, where this happiness comes from? I have a good job, I have a good career, I have like every outside thing I have, cool. I'm not happy. Like, okay, what do I need to do? Like, if relationships didn't make me happy, if pursuing something that didn't make me happy, accomplishments didn't make me happy, of course that made me feel good about myself, but it wasn't true happiness, true fulfillment. I told myself, yeah, I'm gonna buy that motorcycle and then I'm gonna be happy. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And I'm blessed to have achieved like many things that I set out to achieve. And the motorcycle was one of them. And I thought, like, when I buy this motorcycle, I'm gonna be happy. And I was happy for 3 days when I'm riding. Like, first day, I'm riding it, and it's like, yes, I'm happy. This is really cool. Second day, yeah, I'm riding. I'm happy. Third day, I'm riding. This is cool. I'm the same person, but only with a motorcycle. And it led me down to a bad path because I couldn't find happiness. Because the society tells you, go get a good job, get a good relationship, make more money, buy these things, and travel around the world. It's gonna make me happy. When you have these things, like, it doesn't make you happy. It's like Jim Carrey says, I wish everyone could be rich and famous to really see that it's not really that different. So most of the people spend their whole lives thinking about, when I achieve that goal, when I get there, I will be happy. When I get that, surgery to make my boobs big, then I'll be happy. When I accomplish my job or get a diploma, then I'll be worthy. When I get to that relationship, I'm gonna feel good. It's all bullshit. Like, everything is happening in the now. And if you place happiness in something in the future, it's always going to stay in the future. Happiness is never somewhere else than here. Everything is temporary. Everything. And I love how I influence people. I When I was recovering from alcoholism, I met a friend and I basically asked the universe, "Hey, I want a friend. I'm sick of situationships. I want a guy friend who I can talk to, who I can spend time to, who I can connect." And I was sick of being like in a 3 month relationship, then 6 month relationship, and break up and not feeling good. And I was like, I gotta take a break of that. And I took a break for more than a year from dating. And in this year, um, I told myself, I'm not gonna date. I'm gonna meet that guy. And not that I am gonna meet that guy, but I told myself, I want a guy friend. And circumstances happen. And 2024 summer, I spent the whole time hanging out with a guy, with a friend. And we shared like knowledge and everything. And I was like, yeah, I finally found someone. And it's so pretty cool. And I love him. And we shared this summer, and it was temporary. And I had to let go of that friendship from day-to-day meetings to not meeting every day. And I met him in the gym a couple of days ago, and like he has a big heart, kind person. And sometimes when I talk to him, it's like, hey, you're hitting your head to the wall. If you hit, you get hurt. And he's like hitting his head to the wall. And I was like, man, you're hitting your head. And no, I have to do this. Like, I hope you get it. Like, he's doing his thing. And in this moment, I was like, hey, don't do that. And after a couple of months, we meet again. He said, hey, yeah, you told me about not hitting your head. It feels better if you don't hit your head. And specifically about everything is temporary. Why am I sharing this whole story? Because the lesson was, hey, if you hold on to something, and if God, universe, the holy power, the source, doesn't matter what you believe in, the power that governs all, that makes everything possible, that force, if that says, I am gonna take away this thing from you, it's gonna take away. And everything is temporary. Like, I'm gonna die. Everything you know in hundreds of years is gonna be way different. So, if it needs to go, it will go. What you can do is hold tight or do this. If you hold tight, the force gonna rip your fingers off and take this thing, and you're gonna be left with bloody fingers. But if you do this, it's gonna take away and your hand will be with no blood. Sometimes we do hold like this. And if we hold, the thing gets taken away and we are left with blood. I am blessed to have experienced holding on and letting go. So I taught this lesson to that friend. And it was specifically about the relationship that he broke up, and he was like, oh, I want her back so badly. She's the love of my life. And I was like, hey, you have to let go. Is it like, she's not probably the love of your life, because people don't treat you like shit if they're love of your life. You have to understand that. You have to let go. And a month later or 2 months later, he said, yeah, I finally let go. And I realized she's not the love of my life. And I was in my head. And once I did release this, she became like, hey, I want to be back with you. Like, he was fighting so bad to get back with her when he was holding on. But when he let go and surrendered, she actually wanted him back. How crazy is that? Everything is God. Everything is energy. Everything is just how it connects. Because like the core lesson to this is that you are whole. You have everything you need in this present moment. And when you can stay in the present moment, you don't need anything. And that's where you get everything. So need nothing, want everything. There is only this moment, fifth truth. Mind remembers and imagines. In the mind, there are three states, past, present, and future. Everything you have experienced is in the now. Nothing else is real. What do I mean by that? This is the moment. I can't take anything physical from the past and future. So if this moment is only one that exists, we should be practicing practices like meditation and breath work to learning how to be present. So when we experience beauty, when we experience good times like a childbirth or a wedding, or doesn't matter, like seeing a rainbow, we want to be as present as in this moment as possible. Because if we constantly think about the past or future, we lose the sense of being in the now and actually experiencing this moment. And nowadays, it's terrible. Like, I see people so distant from being living. Like, if we see a beautiful double rainbow, that's rare. We take a phone and let's snap a picture to send friends or to post in Instagram stories. Like, we don't actually live in the moment. 30 years ago, there wasn't a photo camera in your pocket. There were photos with 20 pictures on it, then you had to change it to take 20 pictures more, and you didn't take picture every day. You took pictures when you traveled, when you did something meaningful. Not with, oh, there's a cool flower, I have to take a picture. Oh, I'm drinking coffee, let's take a picture, let's post it on stories. These things are making you distant from this moment and ultimately leads to not fulfilling life. Everything you experience is in the now. Eckhart Tolle wrote a beautiful book. Please read it. The Power of Now. 6. Every breath teaches life. Every inhale, every exhale, it's like a birth and death. We can practice just by being aware of our breath and realizing nothing is temporary, nothing is permanent, everything is temporary, and we just have to let go. Let go. Number 7. Let go instead of clinging. This thing. I need this person. I need the career. I need the approval from this person. I need him to understand me. No. Let go. I don't need. You are already. And actually, when you get to that point, when you have it already, that need actually happens. The same what happened with my friend. And it's funny that when you don't need, that happens and you realize, oh, I didn't need it at the start, at first. Observe your thoughts. Number 8. Observe your thoughts instead of believing in them. Thoughts can, like, I see thoughts like there's this big source, and our mind is like an antenna, and we receive thoughts. And sometimes people can think, oh, they can think I am lazy, I am dumb, I am not disciplined. They use the term I am, which they automatically defines themselves as these thoughts. Here's a quick tip. Change to I feel lazy, I feel dumb. Because if you say I feel, you associate thought with a feeling, and feeling passes. Like in your life too. Like you were feeling good, you were feeling bad. It's not permanent. When you switch to statements of I am, I feel, you don't associate yourself with your thoughts. You don't have to believe them. And also, we think around 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day. And funny thing, 95% are the same thoughts we think yesterday. What are the thoughts that you're thinking? Are they more positive or negative? If they're negative, let's change it. Number 9, the ego lives through stories. This is actually, like, I was going through this list and I was like, I want to share, I want to really dive deeper into this one. So, what is the story you've been telling yourself? Is it, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough? Some negative story, right? If you think about yourself as, and I'm sharing negative examples. Of course, there can be good examples, like I'm confident, I am good enough, I am worthy of love, I don't need to work hard for love. These are pretty good, healthy beliefs, stories. But there are also negative stories, like I am not good enough. And if you have a story of I'm not good enough, doesn't matter what happens in the outside world, you will say, I'm not good enough. For example, if you go on to a big party and people are talking and you go and talk to people and you see someone just look at you and then talk to their friends, no, you're thinking like, oh, he's probably thinking about me, that I'm not good enough. And even though someone says, hey, you did really good on that work project that you just finished, you said, no, I didn't do that well. Like my colleagues did the most of the job. I was like, you even can't accept the compliments if the story behind that is I'm not good enough. And you can recognize these stories. They're not real. What really is happening is what is. That person who talked with a friend, they can be talking about anything. But your story, what you tell yourself, makes another story, which you say that's true to yourself. If that makes sense. So we can go back to just what is. It is what it is, and that's the only truth. Presence, number 10, presence creates connection. Real connection happens when labels disappear. Instead of seeing husband, man, woman, doctor, lawyer, see the soul in this outer appearance. What I mean by that is, a couple of weeks ago, I learned this cool concept of Namaste. You probably have heard it, right? I've heard it. I never knew what does it mean. And I was like, when I first knew what does it mean, I was like blown away. Do you know what means namaste? Namaste means I bow to the divine inside you. And it was like, wow, people saying this, they just drop everything what's on the outside and connect with your soul, with your energy, with your being, with the consciousness, with the same consciousness as they are. And they bow to that because that's holy, and I was like, wow. And I do believe this is the only way how you can actually connect with someone. Of course, you can share similar interests, but they're like passing if you don't connect with that divine inside you. That's just, everything else is just superficial. It's like ego-driven things. Everything, number 11, everything has many layers. This means sometimes something bad happens and we think it's bad. And in this moment when experiencing great loss, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be grieving and when someone dies, yeah, be happy. No, grieving is also an emotion that you need to express, you need to feel, and sometimes it's needed because it releases something inside you that otherwise, without that experience of pain and loss and suffering, that you couldn't have felt that. I do believe you have stored feelings, we all do, and experiences only happen for us to bring out those feelings so we can feel and release them. But most, like nowadays, feeling sad, feeling depressed, let's do antidepressants. Let's do the emotional regulating things. Let's use drugs to numb the feelings because feelings are bad. Feelings of sad is depression. That's what medicine calls it, depression. I call it the lack of happiness, the lack of purpose, because I call it the soul saying you, hey, you're going somewhere wrong in your life. That's why you feel depressed. If you were going in your life what makes you happy, you wouldn't feel depressed. Back to everything has many layers. That pain, that loss. Okay, think of the negative experience that you once thought experiencing it, that it's so painful, so negative, and after some time you'll learn the lesson, say, oh, that experience wasn't that bad at all. For me, losing someone I loved, the pain was big. At start it was painful. I was just ripping my body off. But after that, I realized something that I couldn't have realized other way. For me, that lesson is simple: to appreciate the things that you have. Because if you don't appreciate the things you have, for me, I use God as the universal power force that governs everything. I don't know what you want to use, but God is, for me, is not a man sitting up there in heaven. God is everything. God is the energy, the consciousness, the consciousness that flows through everything, that is everything, every particle, everything. That is God for me. Even this, even you, trees, everything. Same thing. So, kind of got lost here. So everything is God. Yeah, appreciate everything, because I realized I experienced loss at that time when I didn't appreciate what I lost when I had it. For example, the relationship. I started neglecting the relationship, and when I lost it, I felt pain. And then there's this moment. I went through it that I wanted to numb it, but I went through it. And I don't want to say like put myself into a pedestal, but I've been running away from that thing for 23 years of my life, and I went through finally. I haven't met a lot of people who did that. And I had this moment of looking finally at myself and saying to myself, I know you want her back, but that is wrong, because when you had her, you didn't appreciate it. I know it hurts, but it's what you did. I'm not blaming, I'm taking full responsibility. And saying, hey, I know this hurts, and I know that you want anything more. You don't want anything more than just going back to her, begging, doesn't matter what you do, but just not experiencing that pain. And at that moment, I was like, shit, no, I am experiencing this pain. And once I did experience that pain, everything in my life changed. I changed. I see pain and suffering as something beautiful. So, with saying this, that's why I haven't found a lot of people who have done that. Because in that moment when you feel pain, you're gonna do everything to stop it, even though it's not gonna help you long term. So the thing that was painful could be the best thing that had ever happened to you. I know that you have experienced that in the past. So why not bring it to nowadays? To when you experience pain and suffering right now, believe and know, not believe, know that this suffering is for a higher reason that's actually good for you. So everything in life is good. The suffering, the pain. Number 12, stop forcing life. Stop forcing life. Sometimes we want so bad, and that example about my friend, he wanted that relationship. And when you force things, you come from a place of a lack, and there are these two states, positive, negative, lack or abundant. If you come from lack, you need something to feel fulfilled, to feel happy, to feel content. But that is just false belief, because you're always whole. And when you create from lack, you will never be fulfilled, because that's a lack. And you're forcing things, and you can probably relate to that. When you force things, when you manipulated someone to like you or to be together, or you lied to get what you want. I did those things. I'm talking about myself. Specifically in a relationship, like a long-term relationship, we had a break. And on this break, I was like, yeah, I'm finally free. I'm just going to go out and party and hook up with other women and all that. I was young, like 20. And I went out, hooked up. I was like, I never had that experience. Oh, that's pretty cool. And after some time, I was like, shit, I want to get back with her, because I feel how I want to get back. I went back and I fought for her, and we ended up in sauna. And there was this couch. We were sitting on a couch, resting after sauna. And she said, hey, Arnolds, in the break, did you hook up with women? I looked at her and I said, no. And even if in my words, no, the tonality, the language, body language, everything was saying, I am lying. And I knew it, and I knew she knew it. She felt it. But we were so afraid to face the truth, to point out the elephant in the room. I didn't know that anything based on lies will eventually fall down. This is another lesson that I learned. So right now, even if it's a hard truth, I tell the truth. Doesn't matter what it is. And I'm not afraid, because ultimately, you lie to get a result. Let's call it a result. Result A. But you will get B. If you don't lie, you think you will get the B, but you will get A. It's like at the same time, you can also get the B. It's like you see both options and you take full responsibility, because that was your action. That was my action to sleep with that woman. And I should have thought, if I sleep with her, I'm never going to get back to my ex. So I lied. And that relationship went to dust because it was based on lies. Number 13, trust uncertainty. Everything in this life is uncertain. You can plan for things. Honestly, I don't want to talk about trust uncertainty. Uncertainty, like, I don't feel like this is what I want to talk. Okay, I want to share it. Like, number 14, the universe guides you. I think it comes together with that previous lesson. Uncertainty is the beautiful unfolding of the life, and the universe guides you. It's like you can, of course, set goals and dreams, but universe will have the plan for you. If you force the wrong thing, you're gonna feel not happy about yourself. And for me, I trust life. I trust if I am late, it's for a reason. And I trust, I say God, you can say universe, specific reason. I am learning how to sing. And once I was late, 15 minutes because of the big traffic jam. And second time in like 7-8 months, I slept because the lesson was at 9:30 and I slept. And like I can 2 times in the last 2 years I slept till 9:30. Okay, 5 times. So it was out of ordinary. And of course I felt bad of sleeping in, but I immediately notice it's for a reason. It's not like you do, oh, I'm just not gonna go to work, or I'm not gonna do something. No, you do. But you have to trust life for these things. I'm saying to you, 2 times in the last 8 months that I missed the lesson. And at that moment I was like, oh, I feel bad. And I immediately changed. This is for a reason. And I have full certainty in the uncertainty. And because of that, I rescheduled my singing lesson to a different day. And in this different day, I went to a different gym. And in this different gym, I met someone. And I don't usually go and talk to girls in the gym and say, hey, how are you? You look beautiful and all that. But in this time, I had this feeling. And she's beautiful. And I just went out and say, hey, you look good. Do you want to go grab something to eat? She was like, yes, give me your phone. I was like, cool. That was easy. And it happened because of that missed slept in morning. So trust the uncertainty and trust that the universe, God, is guiding you. Meaning cannot be chased. We sometimes chase feelings, sometimes chase purpose, and what am I here on life to do? And I want to like chasing, going after. It's not like you don't go there, but you have to trust life that it will unfold. And I love this quote. Actually, it's so funny. I thought I read this quote from one of my favorite authors, which is Richard Bach, but I couldn't find it. So the quote goes like this, and I can say it's mine. We all come here with the toolkit for creating the best possible future for ourselves, but we all have forgotten where we have put it. So that means in life, this is the concept. Before life, we set out our meaning, or what we want to do, what kind of challenges we want to go through, what kind of lessons we want to learn, what our soul, our being needs to learn. So we fly as a consciousness on Earth or other places. Let's take this life before we were born in this body. Like, nothing is created out of nothing. Or it is. But something is created out of something. We are not like out of blue sky, like in this life we just appear. We have been something, somewhere. So I do believe, and the books I read, the people I meet, so we fly and we look for the perfect place for us to accomplish our goals. We look for our parents, ideal match for our soul to learn the lessons that we need to learn. I choose my parents. You choose your parents. I choose the father that I have. I choose the mother that I have. I choose my brothers, exactly them. And I see that. I sincerely believe and have a sense of knowing that it is to be true. Why am I sharing this to you? So, if this is true, and also it can not be true, like this idea, like, do I have a ball in my hand? Doesn't matter if you believe or don't believe. I either have or don't have. So it doesn't matter if you believe. What is what is. And I do have a ball. And I am living my life with this ideology, not forcing it, trusting, in peace, having this pull towards. Why I'm saying? Because I believe I put myself here and I read life. I read my challenges. I am aware of my challenges. I'm aware of how I treat people and how people treat me. What are my thoughts and how my thoughts are influencing how I feel, and how I feel I behave, and how I behave create results in life. And I'm rambling, sorry about that. But what are you passionate about? Like, someone will love to paint. Someone will love to write books. And imagine, when I was 14 years old, I put myself into a situation thanks to my parents. Oh my, I love my parents. The way they are. And sometimes it's so hard to say them in the face. Sometimes it's so hard to tell them, but I do sincerely love them. And when I was 14, my dad invested in me so much, and I feel like this big that I want to give back, that I'm giving the back as best as I can. Right now I'm back, feelings of not good enough. I've shared this before too. Like I have those, and the path that my dad thinks would be the best path is not the path that I want to take. He wants me to be a doctor. I don't want that. I want to make podcasts. I want to talk and influence people and help them live a better life. That's my purpose. That's when I say these things, it lights me up. And I could have forced myself the doctor's path and be miserable all my life, and my dad would approve that, and my dad would be happy about me, but I wouldn't be happy about me. Meaning cannot be chased. When I was 14 years old, I went to Spain for 3 weeks, and I didn't have internet. I didn't have anything. So I took my tablet, I opened notes, and I started writing. I started writing how I feel, what I think, and also the kids around there. Like, they spoke Spanish. I didn't speak Spanish. I couldn't communicate with them. And my English wasn't good. I could say barely a couple of words. Not like right now. And I started writing. A couple of weeks later, I am writing, I want to write a book. Meaning cannot be chased. In my life, I put myself into a place that journaling became a part of me. And right now, I'm about to write a book. I actually have a couple of drafts ready. Music. I love guitar. I love playing guitar. I love singing. When I was in the second grade, my mom had a guitar, and I was eager to play. And she said, okay, let's go on. Let's play this. We have this music shop next to our house. And she was like, yeah, I know this guy. He's going to teach you. And I went there. First lesson, all good. Second lesson, I learned the pentatonic scale and one song. And I was like, yes, cool. And I was so excited to go in the second lesson. And the guy was drunk. At that moment, I didn't know what drinking is, but he was drunk. He gave me electric guitar and said, hey, let's sing. He cursed, like saying, fuck you, mother, and all that. And I was like, I'm not gonna go back. Funny. The first encounter with alcohol, universe, is saying, hey, you love music, but here's alcohol. If there's alcohol, things get ruined. So, trust life. And I want to say that we all are kind of different, but the same. We have to choose the same passion. I mean, the passion, the outer thing. Is it music? Is it writing? Is it basketball? Is it digital marketing? For everyone, it's going to be different. But for everyone, the same will be the feeling towards something. The passionate fulfillment feeling, and that's what I'm wanting and what I'm giving to you. And I would love you to feel this in my body. There is this big warmth feeling, big energy when I talk about these things, because that's what sparks me up. So I want to ask you, what sparks you up? Stop chasing. And so we are come to 16. 16 is death is transformation. If we don't believe in, if we think all this is just physical, then death is just the end of life. I don't see that. I see energy is never created and never destroyed. Energy, it just goes through and changes forms and shapes. And also life and death. Life and death isn't the end, isn't the start. I don't want to say don't grieve, but I also think that we think about the death as something bad, but it's really not. It's I see it as a reminder to really enjoy things while you have, because everyone you know will die. Not today, maybe some will die today, but eventually, me too, I'm gonna die. And if we connect to that, it's like, it brings me peace. It's like, I see a person and I understand that I'm not gonna see that person for the rest of my life. So I can enjoy this moment with that person more, realizing that one day I will not have a chance. That's why going back to that, losing someone you love is the greatest gift. Right now, I have that ability to love the person without holding it, and also understanding that I'm not gonna have that person permanently. And it's so funny, we think that we have permanent things, that life is permanent too. Why I'm saying this? Because we postpone living. And if you want to live, you have to learn how to die. Because, like, not living is waking up late and not wanting to go to sleep. It's like postponing life. When we learn how to die, it means that we learn that life is temporary. We go after things that we want to do. We stop, we lose this, oh, I want to sleep in. We said, oh no. And of course I have days that I sleep in. I don't sleep well all the nights. For example, last night I ate well. I ate late. My recovery is shit today, so I slept a little bit more. That's okay, but tomorrow I know I'm going to get up. I'm going to do the work. Because that's I love to do. And I see death as a rest, a final rest, as a gift, as a transformation. And I want to get to death with, hey, I did everything that I can. I can finally go and I can finally rest. So most people live a life other way around. They fear death, they fear death, and at the same time they don't live. Like, what is that? Death is just a transformation. Do grieve, but it's just a normal part of the process. If you take a look at the environment around you, everything is born and dies and cycles. Like the 4 seasons. Summer, everything is green. Then autumn, the leaves start to die off. And winter, it dies, the leaves are gone. But then the spring comes and it starts the birth. And summer is beautiful. It's the normal path of life. Death shouldn't be some taboo to not be talked about. And I think every single family needs to talk about death. To say, hey, it's not something bad. I think a lot of people perceive it as a bad thing. It's not bad, it's just a transformation. And it brings together, it brings like gratitude. Hey, we are alive. Let's enjoy this moment. And that goes back to the first lesson or the second lesson, that everything is in the present. And you need to practice presence to feel this. And this is all universal things that I'm sharing this to you. The number 17 is you are significantly insignificant. This one is just you're a tiny speck in the big Earth. And the Earth is in the solar system. And the solar system is in the galaxy. And the galaxy is in the universe. Even this galaxy with billions of stars is just a tiny speck of what it is. When you think about that, that's just number 18. Gratitude is the natural response. miracle isn't something big. And sometimes we want some big things to be, oh, when I have that job, when I have that car, then I will feel happier, then I will be content, then I will feel better, great. You see, if we don't learn how to enjoy the small things, what makes you think you can enjoy the big things? And it all starts from enjoying the current moment you are in, because that is the real moment, and we need to think about the real moment, the only moment that exists, as the only thing that exists. And we need to, like, you can use your imagination of what your future would like to be, and imagine how you would like to feel, and bring this feeling into the nowness, into the now, which is the present moment. Why am I saying this? Because feelings, what I have read, they all have energy, they have frequency, and everything is frequency. Light is frequency, my voice is frequency, just it's bigger and smaller, like the waves are bigger and smaller, like your brain has frequency, everything. And every emotion have frequency too. Like when you feel, your body just gets different, right? So there are low frequency emotions like fear, scarcity, sadness. They vibrate low frequency. And high, which is gratitude, happiness, joy, peace, they vibrate higher. And it's really funny thing, not funny thing, but how the universe works. The frequency attracts the frequency. If you probably know, some of your friends, they always complain about someone, always complain about the weather, always complain about the traffic, the politics, like all the usual stuff, Somehow they get into more shit like that. Complain about a flat tire, complain about not being able to pay that bill, doesn't matter what it is. But they seem to get more and more of that. And you probably have a friend who's really grateful for life. I'm so happy to be alive. And they get to experience more beauty of life, right? So gratitude is a higher frequency emotion, which makes you attract more gratitude. And if, it's so silly to think that when I get the next thing, then I will be happy. You will, if you get that thing, when you get that thing, you will be in the present. And if you have practiced the present moment with, I'm going to feel better tomorrow, then when you get to that present moment, you actually don't know how to be in the present feeling happy, because all your life you have been thinking, tomorrow I'm going to be present. Tomorrow I'm going to be happy. When I get this big thing, I'm going to be happy. So what is the practice here? Gratitude. I feel gratitude every single day. Honestly, I don't want to say every single day I cry, but I cry a lot. And it's not like a cry that egos cry. I would say that's divine cry, like the beauty of life cry that touches my soul. That's why I cry, and it's so beautiful to feel these things. For 23 years before I woke up, I was not allowing myself to feel and to cry even. But when I was drinking, I hit my triggers, and I would cry. Only then. It was weird. Right now, it's so beautiful for me to cry, to watch a movie and it touches me, and I just feel those emotions. I would cry if I see a beauty in nature, beautiful sunrise or sunset, existence itself. I would cry just for a breath, because the happiness and love only you can feel in the now. And I have practiced, and I'm still practicing being in the now. But I have come so far that this present moment feels so full of love that I'm fulfilled and whole. And 6 years ago, more than 6 years ago, I started meditating. I started waking up at 5 a.m. I started doing morning rituals, starting reading books, exploring myself, doing breath works, hypnotherapy, a lot of things, journaling, self-hypnosis. And if I put those hours, it probably is a lot. So I have spent hours and hours, and it's like, and I spoke this with someone else that we both have meditated. Oh, actually with my clients. One client that she shared her story, and she said, like, I was meditating for years every day, and right now I feel like all the practice is just paying off. And I do feel like for me too, it doesn't go away. Every time you meditate, you vote more peaceful life for the future, and it's like stays with you. That's so beautiful. Just right now saying that, it's amazing how that works. It's like you don't have to meditate and then for a day you feel good. You meditate and it's for you for a lifetime. And for me, I spent years in doing this every single day. So number 19, stop searching outside. A lot of people, and I think this is the biggest reason why people are unhappy and unfulfilled, because they don't know where is the happiness, where is the self-worth, where is the meaning. And I am really grateful that last year I thought that getting medical doctor's degree would increase my self-worth. That was false, and the universe was helped me see that, of not allowing me to pass last year. And I was so sad. It was so painful. It was when people ask you, are you a doctor? And you have to say the honest answer, no, I'm not, because I failed the exam. And it just feels bad. I said that for a year. And I realized, I am getting my doctor's degree to increase my self-worth. I was taking something from the outside and wanting to attach to my worth, which is wrong. Self-worth comes from within, of who you truly are, and by connecting who you truly are, you realize that's the only self-worth that there is. So in this 1 year, I worked on it. I increased my self-worth, and I detached myself from that outcome, from that worth being taken from the outside. And when I did that, the circumstances changed, and the outside world reflected my worth that I have built within myself. So don't chase anything from the outside. Don't chase, live, realize. Yeah, that's the word, realize. The self-worth, happiness, peace, meaning, everything from inside. And once you truly and honestly do, the outside world will reflect that back to you. So, number 20. The final message: you are not your thoughts, you're not your possessions, what you achieve, or who do you think you are, your identity. Everything in life changes. Relationships comes and goes. Careers changes. For me, going from doctors to being a coach, and right now pursuing podcasts and who knows, music. Careers change, and we experience. Emotions change. If you're feeling depressed, it's not forever. And also, happiness is not forever. I mean, it's your choice. Your body is not the same, and it changes. And pain and suffering are two different things. Pain is what we experience in the now. Suffering is resisting the pain. So there was a story of monks, right? And monks could not touch a woman. And there was this big stream and water, and a woman was there, and the one monk, he touched the woman to carry on the other side of the river, and the other one was looking and saying, looking. After 2 days of traveling together, the other monk was like, no, I gotta tell him. And he finally says it, I can't believe that you touched that woman. The monk says, I can't believe you hold this in for 2 days. So suffering, and suffering what mind does, because mind is always jumping from past to present to future, we turn it off, the suffering ends. The pain is still there, but pain is the greatest teacher. Peace begins when you become fully present, when you become observer rather than I am statement, when you trust the unfolding of life as it is, when you don't force, when you recognize the same divine presence lives in every single person, in every tree, in every breath, in every moment, and you connect with that presence. Nothing is truly lost. Nothing is truly gone. Everything just changes form. Your task is not to control the life, but to experience it. Let it be. Tools for that is gratitude, love, and openness. I thank you for listening for this long episode of me just talking about these things. I love it, and I hope it resonates, and I hope it stays for a long time. So, thank you for being here. My name is Arnolds, and if you want to follow me on social media, Arnolds.Krauklis, my last name. Follow me on social media. Follow Impact Power Theory on social media. And see you next time. And thank you so much for being here and listening. And I hope this really helps you. Bye. Namaste.